On today's episode of PDubs Arcade Loft, we're going to do a quick product review and install tutorial from Buy Stuff Arcades for ALP 4K Pinball Control Deck graphic artwork. I did order one, and they ended up sending me all three options. That way I could actually show these off to you. This is the option if you want to use the stock D-pad, or if you have the optional arcade control panel, they do have two options for you. This one right here has smaller punch-out perforated holes on it. In order to install this one, it's going to be a little bit more heavy lifting. You're actually going to have to take all the buttons and guts out of the arcade control panel to install it. Or this one, this is the one I would highly recommend. This is the one that's got oversized cutout holes. And this one, you don't need to remove the buttons. All you have to do is remove the ball top and dust covers from your joystick. That's it. Everything else will fit over the buttons. Either way, I'm hoping by the time we're done, it's going to make this look so much better without that stupid logo. Okay, step number one, go ahead and grab your Phillips head screwdriver and remove the 3 screws from the front lock bar. That way you can remove the front lock bar from the pinball machine. Step number 2, use that same Phillips screwdriver, remove all 5 screws from the left-hand side rail. That way you can remove the side rail. Again, using the same screwdriver, remove the 5 screws on the right-hand side to remove the right-hand side rail from the pinball machine. When you're done, it should look a little something like this, and I noticed a nice improvement on the actual control panel versus the AtGames Legends Pinball High Definition. And that's the fact that the actual control panel is also held in with 4 screws. So once again, grab your Phillips head screwdriver, remove these 4 screws. Now I have a Wave 1 AtGames Legends Pinball HD that came out a couple of years ago, one of the first ones off the lot. So the original pinball machine, the control panels weren't held in with these screws. It was just kind of held down with the lock bars. So this was a nice touch in my opinion. I don't know if the later generation high def ones had this. Let me know in the comments. Either way, remove those screws and gently lift the control panel. Being careful when you do so, because there are some cables that are connected that are very short. One thing that I noticed here that caught me off guard is take a look right by my right thumb. One of my exciters fell out. That's right, it fell out, and it's inside of the pinball machine. It actually got tangled up amongst some of the other wires inside of there. You do need to remove that white wire that connects to the D-pad in order to free this control panel, but I also had to dig in here and unwrap that exciter that got probably banged loose in shipping or something of that nature. Either way, that kind of stinks at games that these things pop off so easily. Well, regardless, I ended up getting that exciter loose, as well as make sure you disconnect the red and black speaker audio cable that runs from these exciters to the inside of the pinball machine. Take a look at that. Came right off. I'll go ahead and press it down. It looks like it kind of snaps in, and that's what holds it in, but maybe it needs some more adhesive or something of that nature to keep it from falling. All right, before we move on to step number 4, let me just kind of show you real quick what this would look like if you are going to use the stock D-pad and control panel, as well as when you actually have the lock bars on. Obviously, this sticker is not applied yet, but it gives you a good idea as to what that looks like. In my opinion, that looks really, really good. However, myself, I ordered a brand new Legends Pinball arcade control panel to go with this particular Addams Family pinball machine. I've been holding on to this for a while, and sure enough, it comes in. It's really nicely packaged. It's got an instruction booklet, and here's the actual control panel. Now, in order for us to install any of the graphic art onto this control panel, we do need to remove this particular plastic cover, and the reason why is we need to do that to get to that joystick. So grab a screwdriver, this is step number 4, and go ahead and remove all 6 screws that are holding on the plastic cover. Make sure you feed the wire through without damaging the wire. Once that's removed, you can grab a flathead screwdriver and insert that into the little notch on the bottom of the joystick shaft. That way the shaft does not twist as you twist the actual joystick ball. And as you counterclockwise turn that to the left, it'll come loose, it'll come off, as well as you can remove the dust covers. Once that's done, we're ready to actually apply some artwork to this control panel. Okay, step number 5 is actually applying the artwork. Now keep in mind, I'm going to use the ones that you can order from Buy Stuff Arcades that have the oversized cutouts. That way it just simply fits around the buttons, as well as around the large trackball. So in order to get this on here, and keep in mind, if you're going to install this, you can do it multiple ways. You could just remove the entire back sticker, paper backing, and just slap this thing on there and press it down firmly. Me, I'm going to try and move a little bit slower. I'm going to do the traditional, use some painter's tape or something to hold down half of it, cut half of the backing paper away with scissors, use your felt tip squeegee to go ahead and push down the artwork. This is some really nice, high-quality artwork from Buy Stuff Arcades. It's the kind of artwork that isn't going to wear and tear with your hands, with, you know, sweat and dirt and things like that. It'll take a beating over time, and it's not going to come off. So this is some really good artwork that you're getting from Buy Stuff Arcades. Step number 6 for me, following my method here, is just going to be to, we got one side down. Let's go ahead and get this paper off, and that way, or the tape off, that way we could set this down. I mean, you could do this on a kitchen table, a counter table, a desk, anything like that. I'm just doing it right here at the pinball machine because I want to. Go ahead and peel off the second half of the backing paper, and then, of course, follow the same steps with your soft felt tip squeegee and go ahead and get the artwork put on. This is a little bit difficult because you're working around the buttons and the trackball, trying to make sure that you get everything kind of lined up and where it's supposed to be, etc. Luckily, with it being perforated, you're really not going to make a mistake here with the buttons already in place. You're going to be able to get this thing lined up easily. And step number 6 is technically the last step because you're done. All you have to do now at this point is put everything back in the reverse order that you took it off. Go ahead and drop your dust covers on there. Go ahead and screw your ball top on. Once it gets to the part where it's actually kind of twisting the joystick shaft with it, go ahead and grab your, once again, your flathead screwdriver to hold the shaft in place. That way you could give a couple good cranks to the right, tighten it, that way it'll never come loose. The only extra step here, if you want to call it a step 7, is after you get your ball top and your dust covers on, is you can go ahead and put your plastic covering back on. I'm going to leave it off because I plan on doing some additional changes in the future. So go ahead and grab the USB cable that's already inside of your pinball machine. This cable's already provided for you. Go ahead and plug that into the USB port on the control panel. That way your up, down, left, right, your joystick, your trackball, your buttons, all that stuff will work via that USB cable. Grab that audio cable, the black and red cable that goes to the exciters that are built in here on the control panel, and plug that into the red and black audio cable that you unplugged from the original control panel when you remove the original control panel. That way your exciters are working. Don't forget to plug that in. I remember one time on my ALP HD, I forgot to plug those in, and I was wondering why my exciters weren't working, and I had to take everything apart to figure it out. Now we just simply go ahead and get this put back in here and put our screws back in. So grab the 4 screws, remember they're longer than the other ones, and put in your control panel, grab the 10 screws and screw in your side rails, and grab your last 3 screws and screw in your lock bar. Overall, I think this is a really cool mod from Buy Stuff Arcades. I noticed I modded it, or I put it on here slightly off-centered, but I can peel this off and put it back on and get it centered here after this video is over. But this gives you a good example of how good it could look. Looks pretty cool. Go ahead and make sure you power on your pinball machine. Make sure your control panel works, the up, down, left, right with the joystick, as well as the buttons for launching games. And you're all set, man. You're ready to bring your own games and play them on here in case you want to take a break from pinball, especially with this laggy version of Addams Family, this horrible flipper lag, which hopefully AtGames will fix within the next couple of weeks. And that way we can all have a good pinball experience on here. But in regards to the Buy Stuff Arcades, for only like 17 bucks, these control panel stickers are totally worth it in my opinion. If you enjoyed this review and tutorial, give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, my dudes, thank you for subscribing.